Good evening. This is the Elliott Wave update for the S&P 500 for Monday, March the 14th, 2022. The markets were pretty active today. I can't say that they did it on great volume, on volume that I would expect to see within a growing third wave, but solid volume nonetheless. And we did pick up some a little bit of acceleration to the downside. Now, where are we and what's going on? We remain in the process of tracing out a minor third wave, which is going up 1 degree a part of an intermediate third wave, and going down 1 degree will consist of 5 waves of minute degree. So what we have is minute waves 1 and 2 are complete, and now we're beginning to subdivide as we break into that minute third wave. So again, just to demonstrate or show what I believe the impact of this third wave should be, is that we have a subdividing powerful third wave underway. And what we saw today, yes, while adding a nice amount, was held back by movement within the markets going into banks and going into a few stocks that were a part of the S&P. Now, that kind of held things up a little bit today. So I don't want to believe or think that I'm counting too fast in terms of the subminute or the components of this third wave, because I'm expecting this third wave to get us as a minimum down to here. We're still trading at 41.70. And I'm looking for a move down to 38.70. That's a 300 S&P point move. That's pretty large. And so I don't want to be saying that here we have subminute wave 1, subminute wave 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 for subminute wave 3 if we get down to here. That just won't be enough. But I'm going to count them out as 5s and 3s, and then we'll piece it together as it becomes more clear. So let's begin again from here. This is where this third wave is going to begin and has begun. So we have what looks like 5 waves down, and then we did a 3-wave rally up. And that was to the Globex high at 42, 44, almost 45. From that level, we started to head down again. The market then rallied on today's opening as they believed it was time to just push all this money back in, go after the banks, go after basically everything. And they did. And then there was news that came out on a couple of bond funds that were actually declining very substantially. And so that in essence, we have the Fed meeting starting tomorrow. The results of that meeting will be known on Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And so for these high yield bonds to begin to nosedive off of after already declining quite substantially was quite a shock to the market. And that's when we saw the sellers step in very strongly and drive the market pretty much lower for the balance of the session. Now, there were some stronger buys within these bars, but overall, it was a solid, once it got going, it was pretty solid down for the balance. This again is a 30-minute chart. So we had 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 3.5 hours, actually almost 4 before we got that bounce going into our close. And so what that kind of lets me know is that the market continues to be putting in 5 waves down, 3 waves up, which can keep the trend right now down. And so I will continue to look for 5 waves down, 3 waves up. This might be just a small, it is 3 waves up. We might get a little bit additional. I truly don't expect, I would not be looking for it to break above the 20, which is right now, that is the 30-minute 20, which is sitting at 41.87. I'm going to jump back out to that hourly chart and open it up again, since that's the premise for which I use more frequently. So here It's truly the 8, the hourly 8 sits at 41.82, and I would think that that should hold it, if not 41.87. Now, with our acceleration today that we did see, it broke the 50, it broke the 20, it broke the 8, it broke the 4, and then we just kind of fell pretty quickly, and the 4 then guided it lower. Now, it just barely broke above the 4 during the after hours, and then once just prior into the close, sold back off, and they bought it back up after the bell. Now, this could be just if this is going to be 1, 2, 3, this is a small 4, we get a 5. I'm not putting a label outside of that because I really do start to believe that since I am truly looking for a much larger downside move, that if I am actually looking for this, I can't even get it. I got to really squish the chart. I'm looking for something to get me down to 38.75. That means that we got to start breaking. And so I'm thinking this is all going to be a part of a subminute wave 1 of minute wave 3. It is just getting totally bizarre because of the extent to which I think this third wave should go. If I don't get it and it doesn't look right, then it's not going to happen. It's just not going to be the case. So I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt that it is going to happen, that we will continue to see acceleration, that all of this outside forces that are coming in are going to have a play here, the volatility will kick in. That volatility will create a situation where we see some stronger acceleration, even greater than what we saw today, to really start to kick the market lower as they start to really hit a lot of these component stocks. Now, again, it's a big tussle between the folks that want to believe that we're only going to get a quarter point hike on Wednesday, and that somehow is just wonderful and bullish, and that dealing with inflation, who cares? It actually is a big deal. And the fact that high grade and high yield corporate bonds were taking a nosedive today. I'm just going to show you just to kind of illustrate what actually was going on. This is, let me just put this up to the top so I can see. Here we have a high at 83.88 last 2 weeks ago on Monday. Today's low, so 2 weeks later, was 79.88. These have been in a nosedive. And then look what happened in this fifth wave. It just literally let it rip and go. And this was today. Today, it dropped over a point before it recovered some into the close. So this is major, major. And that is what finally drove some sellers to come in and hit the equity markets, because these are corporate, high yield corporate bonds. So what that kind of tells us is, look out below, in my mind. So I don't know if I'd be really placing my bet on a quarter point or even a half a point. I'd be looking for 3/4 of a point to a full point. And if they come out that way, that's going to be a surprise to a lot of traders. And so we'll see what happens. But if we can't, we still have yet in the S&P to get below minute wave 1, which is at 4138.75. This wave has to break that. It has to break that and keep on going. So we got to cleanly break 4154, cleanly break 4130, cleanly break 4107. This is just to get in line to complete minute wave 3. Minute wave 3 projects down to 38.75. Now, that's why I don't want to count too fast, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're done, because it's going to be bigger than that. And we may finish the third, but the third's got to come in larger than this wave 1, and it is not yet even close. So for tomorrow, we may see some overnight, get a little bit additional rally here. Then I am looking for this to turn lower, come into these zones, finish up this little 5, put in another rally, and then continue to drop in 5. I'll work the count out as it progresses, but I need to continue to see 5 down, 3 up, 5 down, 3 up, 5 down, 3 up, and it just unfolds all the way, because all I can really say now is 1, 2, 1, 2. That is how I'm looking at this right now, and that the worst is yet to come. That is my feeling. My gut is telling me that this market is truly getting ready to just roll over. And if the field doesn't look right and it can't get below 41.38 and then in turn 41.01, then we're going to be left with a 3-wave decline. And that's going to suggest that we're still going to go back up and break that again. So that's the overlay on all of this. If we can't get this thing going, then we're going to be, or I'm going to be forced to go back and really take a cold, hard look at the alternate view, which suggests we got an ABC up, we got this, maybe that is not necessarily a 5. I could probably flip it around. That's an X, and this is an A, this is a B, and we get a C wave back up. That can happen. So for tomorrow, I am looking for additional downside. I am looking for it to break these support zones and start lining up, getting below this minor wave 1, and start cleaning itself up and producing the levels we need to see to get minute 3 complete, a minute 4, and a minute 5, which should take us pretty far down. Again, going into the numbers, we're looking down into here, to 3,600 to 3,500, somewhere in there, before minor 3 is complete. Failure to do that would lead us to view the market as still being in a corrective bounce. And it is likely, and it can be A, B, C down to form a B wave, and it could be flat, or it could just go from here down a little bit, meet that, and then rally back up. So it could be A, B, and then we're up, this actually would be a double. So it could be A, and then this A, B, C, and this is actually a double. So it just is kind of getting, to me, a little bit out of hand. And so to keep stretching it out, it's possible, but I'm just not there yet. So I am really looking for this market to break and to start to break down with more urgency, let's say, that the sellers really are just going to get out and prepare us for the next moves. So for tomorrow, again, maybe a small upside should happen within Globex, since they're not really looking for all that much, if at all. And then we start heading lower. We break below these support zones. We break below 41.01. And then put in that low, which we'll be looking to complete below 4,000, the minute wave 3. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. As far as the trading action today, it really was good. It was a very profitable day for most traders that I know and that I deal with. We've all had some nice trades. There was follow through. It wasn't so that the volatility was high enough that we got the moves and they did kind of just roll out. They just kind of happened. So it was easier to hold on to trades and to collect higher P&L. Hopefully that will continue for tomorrow. Next update will be on Tuesday, the 15th.